Second Nature for Children is in the house. Coach, how you doing?
As always, man, great, great. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing absolutely great. I'm ready to give them a great show, and I hope that, as a people, we begin to take heed to this information. And so tonight, I want to talk to you about the number one thing, not the number two, not the number three. And if someone can top this, I would love for them to shoot me a comment or let me know and shoot me their perspective. But I can back this up with facts that the number one thing Blacks are not showing wisdom towards. Now, let's jump right into it. I'm going to take this topic and I'm going to break this topic down so we all can have a reference from where I'm coming from. So when I talk about the number one thing, when I talk about that thing, I'm talking about the concept of information. That thing
Okay.
I'm talking about, so I'm bringing it from thing, I'm talking about information. When I'm talking about showing, I'm talking about to show. Show is to allow or cause something to be visible. So I just want to break this topic down. When I'm talking about wisdom, I'm talking about wisdom is the quality of being wise. Wise. Having wise is having or showing experience, knowledge, and good judgment. That's being wise. And when we talk about toward, we're talking about in the direction of. In the direction of. So the number one thing Blacks are not showing wisdom toward, that's our foundation. That's our foundation. Let me explain it very briefly. The biggest reason we are going through a lot of things that we are going through in our lives, coaches, because we don't understand how to connect our mind, our body, and our soul together. A lot of us haven't been taught that. And we don't understand that if we look at our lives right now, if we sit down and look at our lives, we'll see that either in the physical, in the mental, or either in the spiritual is where our struggle lies. Listen to this right here. And I studied this many years ago when I started my program for the children. There's a link between the mind, the body, and the soul. It's a scientific fact. It's a scientific fact. Now, I want you to understand a fact, of course, some that can be proven. All right. Over the last few decades, there has been a wide body of research, and it has revealed that we have three separate neural pathway networks that run through our body. It leads to our head, our gut, and our heart. These networks, so I want you to understand, now we're dealing with the mind, the body, and the soul. This is a fact that we have these pathway networks, these neural networks that runs to our head, our gut, and our heart. These are been dubbed the three brains. We got to begin to understand why we're going through certain things, and this will explain. And they're called the three brains because they each are capable of controlling how you feel and how you react. Yeah, there you go. Stay right there. Given this information, given this thing, it's vital to nurture each brain to ensure optimal health and wellness.
True.
One of the biggest problems, if not the biggest problem, that each one of us, if we're struggling or whatever we're going through, because if you got going on with fitness, if you got your mind, you're working on this and that, it's still a continuing thing. It's always under construction. So you have to keep it going. You have to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
So we understand right now that the number one thing Blacks are not showing wisdom toward And that's our foundation, and learning and knowing how to connect our mind, our body, and our soul together. That's a fact. Now, let me show you how you're not showing wisdom toward living your best life. Because a lot of us think that we are living our best life by the stuff we have accumulated.
Yeah.
That got us messed up. Because society has dictated what makes us successful. And it's destroying your foundation. A lot of us don't see that. And your focus has been taken out of the most important thing in your life. And that's taking care of. And we haven't been addressing this in the Black community. Society has taken your focus of taking care of your mind, your body, and your soul. And we've been hearing this mind, body, and soul for so long, but no one has come in to teach us how to connect these three areas together. Let me tell you, when it comes to showing, Coach, it's visible. When we talk about showing, it's visible that a lot of us are not doing well physically. You don't have to say nothing. It's visible that a lot of us are not doing well physically. And a lot of us are not displaying the wisdom toward taking better care of ourselves because we are not showing good judgment, meaning we're not showing wisdom. We're not being wise about taking care of ourselves. And we're not, a lot of us, especially if we haven't started, I hope since we've been doing this over a year or so, that at least our people have begun to start taking care of themselves physically, mentally, and spiritually. You know, you got me using hope. And the only reason I'm using hope, you got me using hope. And the only reason I'm using it is because at least we working on it. You and I are working on giving this thing, giving this information. And so I'm hoping, and I would love to say just one or two. I'm sure I got one or two that may be grabbing a hope, but we need more than that to make a change and to make a difference. Go ahead on, Coach. I'll come back. Go ahead on and share what you want to share.
Hope for me is the last straw, really, man, because I had nothing to put into that spot. You know what I mean? And that's why I always advise people to do a lot of reading and listen to certain things. And probably last week or this week sometime, a piece popped up and it talked about the gut being your second brain. Somebody said, man, my gut tells me that, you know what I mean? And that's why you got to be careful what you put inside it because it already had stuff in there. You know what I mean? If you put the wrong stuff, you get out of whack, you know? I also, other than yourself, another piece I heard, and he was saying the connection is already there between the mind, the body, and the spirit. We just got to activate it. You know what I'm saying? I've never heard anybody other than yourself say something like that. I'm like, whoa, So I'm glad my ears is open for the things that I feel is necessary for us to evolve. And the more open I am and the more I read, stuff just pop up. You know what I mean? So we like you said, it's out there. The information is out there, man. I mean, either gravitate to it or not, you know. It is what it is, man. But you go ahead, go ahead.
Well, while you say that, Coach, I hear somebody else out there listening to me, so I appreciate that. Them putting that, them putting that information out there. But it's so factual though, and I stand on this right here. I stand on this boldly. And I have a comment section. There's the email address. We would never And I don't use the word never until I can bag it up. We would never do well physically until we learn how to connect the mind, the body, and the soul together. We would never, you would never do well as reaching your full potential at whatever you're trying to achieve or through your journey. You have to deal with these three brains, the mind, the body, the soul. You have to deal with them until you learn how to activate your mental. You have to learn how to activate your mental. You have to learn how either to define, imagine, or envision whatever it is you want to be or whatever it is you want to do.
Yep, I believe that.
And you got to connect. A lot of times, a lot of us, we're not successful at certain things because we don't have an understanding of this foundation. This is one of the most powerful foundations, if not the most important foundation. That's why I dubbed it the number one thing. Someone would have to show me something else different, because as I sit down and think about us as a people, the things that we are going through is under the umbrella of the mind, the body, or the soul. You can't get from around it. Either we're not doing well physically because we're sick physically. Mentally, trauma, period. Bad decision, trauma, period. A lot of mental illness run through the Black community that we haven't dealt with. And then when it comes to our spiritual being, a lot of us are so messed up because we are so hooked onto a religion or a belief that we're not living, instead of being hooked on the truth. And there are certain principles that we must live by. But what I've found out, and I've lived long enough to know now, that a lie and a belief moves faster than the truth. I'll just pick that up over the years.
Yeah.
A lie and belief, it moves faster than the truth. So more than likely, you're gonna get a lie or a belief before you get the truth. And a lot of times we get the truth and we be so hooked up in a lie or the belief that we don't even believe the truth when it comes. And see, that's our mental state. And we have just really threw our principles out the window. And we need our principles.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Those things that dwell within us for us to be successful in anything. And I'm talking about, first of all, our self-love. I've done the video. A lot of us don't really understand that we don't even show ourselves love. We don't even show ourselves a strong liking, because you can look at the action of how you treat yourself. And that's something we have to sit down. So a lot of us won't sit down and think about certain things. You know, we got to have a lot going on, and it keeps us from really sitting down thinking. That's why meditation is so important. And so we're missing that self-love for ourselves. Of course, we're missing that discipline, that self-control, that consistency. These things right here, let me tell you something. I don't care nothing about your belief. You can have your belief all you want to. But in those beliefs, they have good principles that we're not even living by. So that's why when I'm dealing with that religion, I'm dealing with something that had just come a formality or a custom, or it's just time to do it because it's time to do it, because it's something that has been just embedded in us, but we're not going to live it. That's the problem. So I always tell people, they say, "Are you atheist? You don't?" No. Let's get something straight.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I don't believe, because I have my beliefs, but my beliefs are personal. I don't have to share them with you, but my actions to let you know that I have a strong belief is my work that I put in every day. Where I'm hearing a lot of people telling me about their belief, but I don't see any work. That's the problem that I'm having. I don't see no work at all. And so you want to share anything, Coach, before I go on?
Well, in the society which we live, man, I always say actions speak louder than words, but I think majority of society got it twisted around. The words supersede action. You know, that's why they quote the scriptures, say all of what they got to say and all that, but the action don't match up with it. You know what I mean? I always say religion is a bridge to spirituality. You know, what it don't doesn't matter what religion, it's a bridge to spirituality, you know. And if you stuck on that bridge, you haven't crossed over, then what are you doing? You know what I mean? I know it sounds good, you know, you look cute in your outfit, you know, you go to church, you do what it is you do, but are you living? Are you trying to, you know, to adapt those principles within your daily life? You know what I mean? Well, you go ahead with.
Yeah, yeah. And by you saying that right there, it lets me know when you speak of the action, it lets me know that they're not showing wisdom toward what they're saying that they believe. You understand? Because once you show wisdom and be wise toward what you tell me you believe, then you will show good judgment. And I don't see the good judgment. And let me tell you something. I've seen for many years people going to the gym for many years. I've been in the gym basically
Oh,
all my life,
yeah,
but they still looking the same. They've been,
yeah.
yeah, they still
Or
looking,
worse,
they still
or
looking,
worse. I'm just
they,
be out honest, or worse.
they still looking the same, or they still looking worse.
Mm-hmm.
You really, a lot of them think that weightlifting is physical fitness. No, 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 no. You are not physically fit until you learn how to balance and connect these three areas together. That's your nutrition, that's your cardio, and then that's your weight training. Because you need your cardio for your heart and your lungs. That's your true conditioning. You're not living just by muscle. You're living because your heart and your lungs are working properly. So you can go to the weight room. You can say you can fool yourself. A lot of us be fooling ourselves, thinking just because we go to the gym, you know, everything good, we're doing it. But a lot of us don't really know how to work out. A lot of us really don't know. We think we've been to the gym, so now we can go home and just eat up everything. No, that's not how that works, man. I've been seeing folks for
Mm-hmm.
many years, like I say, go to the gym and lift weights. I don't see zero cardio, just absolutely no cardio. That's not fitness. And so we got to learn, just as well as we have to learn how to connect the mind, the body, and the soul together. When it comes to fitness, we got to make sure that we understand that you got to put the three areas together for
Yeah.
fitness. And that's your nutrition, that's your cardio, and that's your weight training. If you're not putting all three of them together and putting that combination together, I'm just gonna tell you, family, it's a fact. You just fooling yourself. You're just fooling yourself. And it shows mentally that a lot of us are not showing wisdom because of our actions, just like you stated a little earlier. And a lot of us are not working toward doing better. That's the sad thing. We're not getting help for our trauma, a lot of things that we are going through. And we need to sit down in our lives. And here's the fact, who you telling me? Well, if you don't sit down sometimes in your life and think about the old saying, what, when, where, why, and how. These are things, whether you know it or not, that you need to say. I don't care how much money you're going to accumulate it. I don't care how many degrees you got. That stuff don't mean nothing. Because don't you know, you can go make $1 billion. But if you don't take care of yourself physically, I've never in my life ever seen a U-Haul behind a hearse going to the burial ground. You can't take it with you.
Mm-hmm.
I've never
No.
seen it. Yeah, never seen it. So until we learn how to connect our mind, our body, and our souls together, that what, when, where, why, and how, you're going to always stand on it boldly, like I said a little earlier. You're going to always struggle in areas that you don't have to struggle in. We all have ups and downs and go through this and that. But if I tell you that the iron is hot, here's another old saying. Why do you have to go touch the iron? That's why a mentor is so important, to find someone that you trust who can give good advice, because everything we go through in life, we don't always have to experience something bad before we learn something. If we listen, you understand?
Yeah.
I know it's some things in life you're gonna have to go through and you're gonna have to experience. But let me tell you something. We don't have to experience all the bad things that we go through if we just listen to somebody. I work with kids every day. If these kids listen to me, a lot of things that their parents went through, a lot of things that they would experience from making bad decisions, they wouldn't have to go through them if they just listen, take heed, show wisdom, meaning put the action to it. And so that's one of the problems that we have. And I just want to make sure that I give the number one thing Black are not showing wisdom toward, and that's having a strong foundation. And one of the reasons you see us falling a lot as a people, because anything with a weak, if the base is not strong, it's gonna fall. And you see us falling, and you see us constantly making bad decisions. And when it comes to our soul, we struggle with principle. Like I said earlier, one of the biggest reasons we are not where we want to be is because of self-love, self-discipline, self-control, tenacity to be able to fight through certain things, having an understanding of why you're going through certain things, knowing, and I talked about this in another video. If we can get an understanding of this right here, coach, this will really help change our lives. Knowing that we are a part of the universe. And I talk about that, but a lot of us miss that. Here's another fact. Through the course of your life, you're going to experience the 4 seasons, and you have to know how to handle the 4 seasons when they come, and you have to get an understanding of what season you're in, because knowing what seasons you're in, it'll help you make the proper decision, whether that decision is a hard decision to make or an easy decision to make. And very simple, I simply stated that a lot of us, even though now we're in a fall season, if we understand the fall season, we see that it's a season of letting go. I don't care, a lot of these trees, I don't care how much they want to hold on to the leaves. When this season comes, you have to let it go. That's the universe. So in a lot of our lives, we're in a fall season, and it's causing a disturbance in our life, and we don't understand why this is going on. That's why I told you a little earlier, where, why, when, where, how. Why am I experiencing this? Well, you may not know that you're in a fall season of life where it's something you need to let go. Just something to think about. You're part of the universe. Whether you want that tree might want to hold on to them leaves, but them leaves got to fall. So you may be in a point or something in your life where you got to let it go. You may be in a spring season of life where something is trying to be born again, something is trying to be rebirthed, and you stopping it by making bad decisions in some kind of way, where it need to be some type of renewing in your life. It's just something to think about. I just want you to think about that. You may be in a summer season of life where you feel like it's real hot. It's a hot time. And when it's a hot time, I tell you, like I used to tell folks a long time ago, when you look at a firework, it's only gunpowder and a cardboard. Basically, that's what it is. And the only way you can see the beauty in it is that you put some fire to it. That's the only way you can see. You got to put some fire to it. And a lot of you don't realize that you may be in a hot part of life, and the only way for us to see what's great inside you manifest is that you go through this hot season. But a lot of us don't understand that. A lot of us don't understand that during that summer season, when it's a hot season, it's time to get away from something for a little while. It's a vacation season. We don't understand. But if we get an understanding of it, it'll really help us in life. You may be at a point in life where you need to step away from something for a little while, then come back. Something to think about. You may be in a winter where it's something you need to do more of. You may need to pack something more on. You need to put more on because it's a cold season. And it's just something I want you to really sit down and think about. Because if you really sit down and think about it, you'll be able to say, okay. And then analyze your life and see, am I going through this in this area? Am I going through that? I just want you to sit down and think about the seasons of life in your life. And another thing I'd like for you to just sit down and think about. Go on, Coach. You want to share something? I got so much information. So
I hear you. I think about 2 weeks ago, might have been 2 to 3 weeks ago, they had that scientific study came out where they talk about our consciousness could be connected to the universe. And I'm like, I said, but you mean to tell me all this time we're part of the universe, but we're not connected to it? We're connected to it. You know what I mean? Y'all just found some evidence that's supposedly saying we are, because yeah, we are connected because we're part of the universe. So I just want to share that. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely something to think about. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Coach, these are facts. Not only are they facts where it's been read and studied, a lot of this stuff that I be giving, Coach, I never read it from anywhere. I just give my observation on things, and I may go study it or look at it or look it up. Then I say, okay, right, I was right there. But we are definitely part of it. We are a being.
The universe, yeah.
Yeah, of the universe. And it's just like another thing where how religion has taken the SUN, changed it to the SON, saying that it is the sustainer of life. We have to be careful with that because I know many, many, many people does not subscribe to what Christianity subscribed to as Jesus being the savior and the sustainer of life. I know many people live without that, but I don't know anyone who live without the SUN performing everything. Yep. That's a fact. See, some things are just a fact. When we talk about being connected to the universe and talk about the seasons of life, don't nobody have to believe you or not. If they just sit down for a minute and think, they will see how they life go through those cycles. All you have to do is just sit down and think. Don't nobody have to tell you. What we're doing is bringing an awareness for you to be conscious of it so that when certain things are happening in your life, it'll give you a better understanding. Then you can handle it better. Because one of the best things in life to have is an understanding. And one of the worst things to have is a misunderstanding. So a lot of times we struggling with certain things because we don't understand. If someone gives you a quiz or a test and they put that information down in front of you and you don't know it, that's one of the biggest struggles you would have, trying to take a test where you have no understanding of it. You have no knowledge of it. But what if someone put a test in front of you that was ABC or 1, 2, 3? You would kill it. So that's what we're trying to do. I'm trying to give information. I'm trying to give that number one thing. I'm trying to get that concept. I'm trying to give you that information that you can use, that when you're on your journey that you're on and you begin to experience certain things and you got to take that certain test in life, you will pass. You will pass that test. And all you have to do is get an understanding of your journey and begin, like I said, to accept help. Don't think you know everything. Don't think you know everything. It's okay. I know society has hooked us on as a drug to gossip. I know we hooked on to it. I know it has us hooked on to entertainment. I know. But we as an individual, not even as a group, you as an individual have to be wise enough to say, you know what? Let me get me some wisdom. Let me get me some knowledge as well. That's your accountability. That's your responsibility as an individual, you know? So we would never ever come together as a group if we can't get one person to take accountability and responsibility for themselves. Then those people have to form a group. But if you never take accountability and responsibility for some, then hell, how you gonna come together with somebody else who's trying to do that when y'all are pulling opposite apart? So the number one thing, I say it again because I want everybody to get this, because this information that we put out will literally, if people take heed to it, it'll change their lives. Literally, it'll change their life, and they don't understand. Go ahead on.
I think some people don't believe their life need changing. Just being honest with you. If you're not in a space where you do self-evaluation, like you talk about self-evaluation, and you don't have that yearning to be better, you know, then this going to be falling in deaf ears. You know what I mean? Or you're going to push back because it's going to rub you the wrong way. And it's going to rub you the wrong way because you know, oh man, that applies to me. I ain't in the mood to do that kind of work right now. I'm comfortable where I am. You know what I mean? So in order to grow, you got to be uncomfortable. So first of all, you got to receive it and you got to apply it. And I don't think a lot of people are there. Caught up with everyday life, you know what I mean? They struggle, you know, they're putting together, you know, few coins to pay these bills, you know, dealing with the kids, dealing with their health. Here we go back to health, you know what I mean? So I think that's what it is, man. I had two people spoke to me about it. They know they're gonna pay their bills. Well, you see things slowing down on your job. You should have got another one. You know what I mean? I mean, it's right there in front of your face. I gotta tell you that. But what are you waiting for? You know, for the employer to save you, man, don't care nothing about you. You know, so but you go ahead, man.
No, and that's great that you said that, because just like I stated a little earlier, as an individual, you got to take accountability and responsibility for yourself, and you got to wake up. And like you said, you know what? There are people out there who feel like they don't need to hear it. You know, I'm good. You know, I'm good. So if you good,
Yeah.
then no problem. So we're reaching out for people who want to take their life to the next level. That's who I'm reaching out for. If you feel like you good, then you good. I ain't got no problem with you. You know, you ain't got to tune in. If you're good, go handle your business. No problem. But I'm definitely reaching out to the ones who like, you know what? I do want to take my life to another level. And I'm kind of stagnant where I'm at. I'm struggling with my health. I'm struggling with my mindset. I'm struggling with my spiritual being. So let me tune in. Let me listen and see what's going on. And then let me show wisdom to it to begin to do some changes that they are saying out of all of these videos that they have. So if something is not working that they're telling me to do, then let me hit them up and let them know that's not working. But here, I haven't even had out of almost 200 videos, no one to hit me up to let me know that they have done or either tried anything that's being said. Not one person. Now you may have one or two people try to get smart about something. That's us though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's us.
Yeah.
That's us. But not one time have anybody told me that when I tell them that something they can do to improve their life, that they tried it and it didn't work. Not one. And not one gonna be able to tell me, because when I come to you, I'm bringing facts. I'm done, coach. It's 2 minutes and 25 seconds. I'll let you close out. I'm done. I can give it to
Oh
you.
yeah, I see it up here. I
Okay.
see it up here. I said, man, choices, man. We need to make a better decision in regards to our choices we make. And that's in the entire gamut of life, be it relationships, be it, how we spend our money, our time, just our choices, man. You know, just like I said, a couple of folks were talking about their situation, man. And, you know, I only would put certain things out there if you open the door. You know what I mean? Because I want to tell a grown folk how to handle their business. But I saw what their issue coming down the gamut. I saw it. You know what I mean? You got to pivot, man. You hoping that things pick back up. No, it's not. Folks are not spending money. You in that industry, folks got to spend money for you to make money. They're not doing it because they don't have it. And who have it got to hold on to it. So you should have, do your little pivot to, pick up that slack. You know what I mean? Our choices, man. Our choices, our choices, our choices, man. You know, you don't have to spend every dime you get, man. You can put aside something. You need that cushion, man. So many people complaining about, the economy and all that. You can't control that. You can only control what you can do. You know what I mean? Have your little nest egg put aside just in case, man. You know, what if that job lets you go? What can you do without a paycheck for 2 months? That's things you got to think about and you got to fit yourself in, you know. So I say the choices, man. Beware of the choices and keep evolving, man. The information's out there. Reading, you know what I mean? Listening to stuff that will elevate you, you know. That's my take, man. I see the seconds ticking away. So.
We are, coach. Like, subscribe, and share. And until the next time, I'll holler.
All right, take care.